We would like to thank everyone for coming here for this world premiere. We have people that have flown from all over the world to be a part of this moment in history. To start off the evening, we'd like to welcome Dr. Joel Rappel from Boston University for some opening remarks.
Good evening. It is not surprising that the play we will see this evening, is being presented 4 days before we, in Israel and in the United States, observed Holocaust Memorial Day. I discovered the text of the play accidentally 4 years ago, buried in the Elie Wiesel archive, which I have been directing for the past 5.5 years. I said accidentally, since there was no mention of its existence, not on Wiesel's other writings, nor in the list of documents which were expected to be in the archive. This is more. Even Elie Wiesel did not recall the existence of the play, written during the years when he wrote and lectures almost constantly around the mid-60s in the 20th century. The play is one of 3 plays I discovered while working through the archives, and there probably are no more. The Wiesel archive, which will be open to the public in about 6 months, contains about 1 million documents of all kinds, created during his entire career since 1945. There are 3 basic categories of documents. First and foremost, handwritten manuscript of books, articles, and lectures in 4 languages: Hebrew, Yiddish, English, and French. Another group is the letters mainly in one of the 4 languages I mentioned. In total, the archives contain more than 250,000 letters. The third group is that of newspapers written by and about Elie Wiesel. This group contains more than 200,000 items. Material relating to the Holocaust in the Elie Wiesel archive include first and foremost all the Wiesel wrote on the subject. I must emphasize that I was sometimes surprised by Wiesel's ability to innovate in each and every article and lecture. The archive contains hundreds of articles on the Holocaust, each different from the others. Each one contains different innovation, original idea or thought process which deserve mention. In the future, I believe that all he wrote about the Holocaust and its significance for our and future generation will be collected in 10 volumes of more than 750 pages. I believe that it will not be enough to include all of those materials, among them the play we will witness this evening. When the play is over, you will probably remain seated for a few moments. Since it is not provoking fires up the imagination, demands a reaction and require a response to the problems it raises. I hope that before Holocaust Memorial Day, it will provide a small injection of thought, memory, and contemplation about the Holocaust, which may be help to prevent its happening again. I would like to thank the Divinity School of Harvard University, and more than that, thanks to Gila Kisos for all her efforts in order to put this play on the stage. Thank you for this evening. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gila Clara Jesus. I'm the director of this production. I was the student of Elie Wiesel from 2003 to 2008, and this is for me a great honor to present it to you tonight. The first person I would like to thank is, of course, Dr. Rappel, not only because of his discovery, but also for his generosity, for letting me know about this wonderful piece. I began writing a speech for tonight opening, of course, and at one point I was struck by the idea of another one. Here is another one story about the Shoah, another one life about a survivor, another one testimony, another one Remembrance Day, Remembrance Holocaust Day. What are we doing with this memory? What is this other one will change? I thought about doing this play because it doesn't address Holocaust directly. It addresses the choice that we are all facing when we have each day, each minute of our life, decide if yes or no. Yes or no to concretize not only a project, but sometimes to choose to be in touch with the person, to communicate something to someone, and sometimes, without realizing, offering possibilities of listening to others. The question of listening is also crucial now that there remain so few survivors. This afternoon, we had the fantastic chance to hear Janet, a survivor, who spoke about the tragedy, about her life. And it appeared to me, after talking to my light designer, Len Schnabel, that through the workshop we had done this afternoon, with some of you who came, who will have the strength to come on stage to perform this little pantomime we have been working, it happened to me that it is time now to use all of our strength for two things: attesting that the Shoah happened once for all, and the second is transmitting to young generation with joy. This is not a joyful story. I've been working on Shoah stories since 2003, has been more than 10 years now. You never found very joyful stories, but remarkable by what they teach us in terms of courage, in terms of strength, in terms of will to live. And this is what I want to share with you tonight. Yes, tonight the story will be hard, trying to find an option, the less painful option regarding a choice. But it's also about choosing life, as it is said in the Talmud, and you will choose life. This performance couldn't have been done without many people. Among them, I would like to speak about wonderful producers, co-producers. Of course, Nick Navarro, who has been so faithful and so helpful. Thank you, Nick. Rachel Deitch, who I met recently and who have been fantastic, and Neila Colombo for her strength. I want to also mention Kevin Madigan from Harvard University. Professor Madigan, tonight is happening because of your will. Harry Human, wonderful set designer who allow us to have also what you could discover tonight in terms of superb set. Katiti Kironde, who has been so thoughtful for her beautiful insights regarding what is remembering and what is the importance of the effort of the memory today. Jake Calderin for his strength, his kindness, for being here. Vidal Ekeshoku, who is having a wonderful way to handle media. Thank you very much. To Sel, as stage manager, and so many other leaders who supported this endeavor. A very short word about Harvard Divinity School, Center for Jewish Studies, Harvard Hillel. All those people have been supporting us from all those institutions, and of course, our guests of honor. Tonight, you will have the chance to listen, by order of appearance, the wonderful actor Jimmy Tingle, who will play the role of Frank, the wonderful athlete Ilya Grad, who is coming from very far in order to do this performance. You will also have the pleasure to hear Jonathan Soroff as the narrator, Jared Bowen, Jonas Steinberg, Arthur Applebaum, and Joshua Rubinstein, who will be the hostages. At the end of this play reading, you will hear a ceremony of lighting candles, 6 candles, 6 million Jews who died. If we're still alive today, it's not, this is what I think, because we are the chosen people. It's just because the will of life that we all have as human beings. And usually, we have to remember also that we are still alive thanks to people who have helped. This is the good part of human being. And I still believe that good is inside of us. Thank you very much, and I want to now let the floor to the Remembrance Ambassadors. Thank you for coming.
I'd like to invite our guitarist Phil Berman and cantor Debbie to come on stage now, please. Act 1. An enemy-occupied country in Europe. A night in December. The action takes place in a small and bare room near the place where the resistance keeps its prisoners. A window on the snowy street. There are 2 men in it. Misha is young, nervous, vibrant, and tense. Frank, older, is peaceful, has self-control, is serious, extremely serious.
Why me?
Why not you?
Why me today? Because it was my turn? Or because you wanted to test me, to make sure of my loyalty, of my capacities?
Only the old man knows it. He doesn't like questions.
Frank, how long have you been in the movement?
A very long time.
So you must know. Tell me, does the old man sometimes assign himself to this kind of mission? Just to know how it feels when they execute a human being?
If he does so, he's the only one that knows about it. His actions, as well as his thoughts, are secret. It is by our intermediary that he reveals them and makes them applicable. When he chooses us, you or me, to kill or to be killed, to keep quiet or to start yelling, I am not me anymore. You are not you anymore. We have become him. The old man has died many times and is killed many times.
Do you know him?
I don't think so. Actually, nobody knows him.
He must have a matchless strength of character. You realize? To always stand behind the one of us who kills and who falls, to find himself in everything we do. Undoubtedly, he is the sum of minds and wills he commands.
He is strong.
When were you chosen?
Me?
Yeah, you. When were you chosen for the first time?
A long time ago.
How was it?
How? Hard.
And after? How did you feel after?
I felt lonely. Deeply lonely. It's an action that isolates you, that creates a void around you. For one moment, it seems like this man was a friend. Maybe he was, in fact.
Who was it?
He was no longer young, and he was afraid.
How was he, however? Do you think they'll soon be here?
Any minute now, if all goes well.
Who's directing the operation?
I don't know. All I know is that Leona is a part of it. Don't worry, she's in it only as an observer.
Provided nothing happens to her.
You love her, right?
Yes.
And her, does she love you too?
Yes, I think so.
That's beautiful.
You're making fun of me.
Not of you, maybe of love.
Yes, I know it's absurd to love in times of war when man is just an island lost in an ocean of fear and of death and of scorn. But maybe he knows it's precisely what makes love so beautiful and so heartbreaking.
Maybe.
Do you think I'll react the same way as you? I mean, tomorrow morning.
Undoubtedly. The first time we all feel the exact same way. Then you get used to it.
No, I'll never get used to it. You hear me? Never.
Of course you will. Like everybody else, it's a matter of time. A long time for some, or less for others. At the end, we're all the same.
But what are they doing? Why aren't they here yet?
Be patient. It won't be
It's
long.
too long of a wait.
It won't take long. I know it's long, but it's not going to take that long.
They're already holding him. I wonder who he is. If he's old, if he's young, if he's arrogant, furious, humiliated. Aren't you curious?
No, I'm not curious.
I don't understand you.
All of them also look alike, you know.
Tell me, do you still believe that what we do is right?
Of
Valid?
course. Of course it's right.
I hope so. Otherwise, it would be terrible.
Terrible. Why?
Why? Because I believe in you. I believe in you more than in anybody or in anything else.
More than in Leona?
It's not the same. I love Ilona, but I believe in you.
Don't believe in me, but in what you do, your faith. You owe it to the movement.
To me, you, Frank, are the movement. To me, tomorrow at dawn, when I'll be face to face with him, and he'll raise his eyes towards me, he'll look at me, surprised, begging, or maybe hateful. Tomorrow morning, you see, I won't feel alone. I won't be alone.
Enough. Be quiet, fool. You shouldn't be thinking of me while you're killing a man, but of him. Don't you think he deserves it?
Won't be easy.
What won't be easy? Slaughtering him while thinking of him? I'd rather think of something else. Well, think of the movement. Think of those men, those women who give him their life and their children. Think of the war, of the cruelty, of the shame it causes. Think of the enemy, of the occupying army trying to break us, to humiliate us, to erase our past, to stifle our hopes, who starve and torture us. Think of Elsa.
Of Elsa?
Yes, of Elsa. Do you remember her?
The liaison officer? What happened to her?
You don't know about it?
Oh?
She was arrested last Thursday. A neighbor had reported her to the authorities. She was sleeping when they burst into her bedroom. They dragged her half naked to their headquarters. They didn't even bother to ask her if she wanted to speak, and they started to torture her right away. She remained calm. That same day, they cut off one of her fingers. Another one on Friday. A third one on Saturday. Today is the fifth one. She's going to be executed soon. She knows it and continues to remain silent.
Elsa. I can picture her. She had a beautiful face, pure oval, sad and dreamy eyes. One day, she asked me if I was afraid of being tortured. I didn't answer her, not knowing what to say, as for me, I fear it. She told me.
Everybody's afraid of it, but very few recognize it.
When I was a child, my father wanted me to become a violinist. I've been studying for 3 years, rather badly, I'm afraid. I wonder if Elsa plays an instrument. Frank, who is the hostage? One of your executioners?
That would be too beautiful. They are too well guarded. They know they need to be because we have their names and we're aware of it. At the moment, they're practically inaccessible. Also, the old man's orders are to take the first enemy who falls into our hands tonight. We have to bring him here and execute him tomorrow morning at dawn. To tell the truth, there's nothing more to know. Why this kidnapping and why no? Why now? A mystery. Maybe it's because of Elsa, maybe not. Only the old man could say so.
It's snowing. The city seems so close, so small, so quiet, so human. Watch these white flakes falling, light and silent. Nothing is more peaceful than a winter night.
I like the snow.
It's serene, spotless, and without shame.
I like the snow.
It would be good to go out with you, and now for a long walk on the streets, the way we used to. You remember all those endless walks? The picture streets, fate guided with steps, strange places where we got lost. I learned so much with you. everything I know. It's you who taught it to me. You showed me how to contemplate things, how to examine faces in order to discover in them the reflection of death or of the sun. Today, I don't dare to look anymore. I'm afraid.
Knocking sounds at the door 4 times, quickly. It is the signal. Ilona enters. She is young, beautiful, of medium height. She is wearing a raincoat and a scarf on her head.
Good evening, Misha.
Good evening, Ilona.
Something terrible has happened.
It failed?
Quite the opposite. It succeeded too well.
What do you mean?
Our orders were to take 1 hostage. We have 3.
3?
3. At first, there hardly seemed to be any hope. We had 2 cars. I was in the second one. In some streets, there wasn't a single enemy soldier. In others, they were teeming. The curfew was coming. We decided to wait another 5 minutes. If the opportunity didn't arrive quickly, the operation would be postponed. Just then, in a dark alley, we saw these 3 men coming out of a bar. We had to catch all 3 of them, or not at all. If we had caught only one, the 2 others would have gone to warn the police, who weren't far.
That is awful.
Yes, it is awful.
What could we have done? You couldn't have killed all 3 of them.
No, reprisals would have been terrible.
They would take hostages in turn, and in large numbers. They've already done it. They started all over again.
I don't like it. It would be better off if I talked it over with the old man.
Tell him we can't execute 3 of them.
You want me to tell him what we can or what we have to do?
I apologize, but
I'll go ask him for instructions and I'll be right back.
I'm glad you're here. Was it hard?
No. It took only a few seconds. They offered no resistance.
I worried about you.
You should not.
Some were captured.
I know.
Did you know Elsa?
Yes. And I know about it. Don't worry. I'm careful. I promise.
Elsa was also careful, and nevertheless,
Ah,
her hours come.
that's a lot of... I don't believe in destiny.
So, what do you believe in?
I believe in us.
I'm cold. The night's going to be long and cold.
Dawn will be here soon.
No, I beg you, let's not talk about dawn.
I wish the night was over.
I wish everything was over. Do you know that the worst thing is about the resistance movement? The wait. We're always waiting for something, for someone. We wait for you to return, for an order to be carried out, for the anxiety to subside, for the world to regain its balance and humanity, its soul.
You're sad tonight.
It must be because of the snow. When it snows, it feels like it'll snow forever. Like it'll snow tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and the day after the next, till the end of days, till the end of time, till
Snow
the end of
shouldn't
years.
fall in wartime. It would be as if nature were protesting against mankind.
Mankind would refuse to understand.
Maybe. But us, we would understand.
When you say we, it's as if you're saying I love you.
I love you
Will you still love me tomorrow?
tomorrow and forever.
At dawn?
Is it at dawn?
It's always at dawn.
Of course, Misha. I love you and I'll be with you.
No, Ilona. I'll be alone. Ask Frank, he knows.
Are you afraid
Afraid of what?
to be ashamed after?
Yes,
Are you not ashamed to be afraid?
I'm not ashamed.
Fine. What we're doing has to leave a scar of shame inside of us.
I wonder if sometimes Frank is ashamed.
Oh, maybe in the past, no more now.
You don't like him.
No. He scares me. But you, why do you like him?
Why do I like him? At first, I like him because I was desperately lonely. Now, it's because I think he is.
He has too much influence on you. That's bad.
You're jealous.
Maybe I am. I want you all to myself. But I don't think it's the only reason.
What can be the other?
Well, I don't exactly know.
I met him shortly after the death of my parents. Father had been shot. Mother had committed suicide in prison. She couldn't endure being tortured. I had nobody in the world anymore. Then Frank discovered me. He came to my home to see me, to see how I was getting along, who was taking care of me. He revealed to me that my parents had been members of the movement and offered to share his apartment with me, to become his brother. In short, we became inseparable.
Is it him who pushed you to join the movement?
No, I did it on my own initiative. I wanted to look like him, to do what he did.
Was he happy about it?
I think so.
Do you think he's still happy about it?
Sometimes I wonder.
It's still snowing.
So?
Frank enters the room.
What did he say?
Did you talk to him?
Yes, on the phone.
What did he say?
What did he say, Frank?
He was not happy.
But what did he say? What are we supposed to do?
The orders remain the same. A hostage must be executed at dawn.
A hostage, you say? Which one?
Any.
That's not an answer. Which one? How am I supposed to know?
The old man wants you to choose. He relies on your judgment.
But I don't want to rely on my judgment. I want to be told how to choose. On what basis to establish the choice? Am I supposed to make them play cards so that they can indicate the loser?
The old man is letting you choose.
But for heaven's sake, Frank, try to understand me. How may I choose? How?
Why don't you help him? You are his friend, aren't you?
How could I help you, Misha?
You could at least make the choice.
For him?
Why not?
Is that what you want, Misha?
I guess not. It wouldn't be fair to you. Besides, I'm no longer a child. I can manage by myself.
So you're going to do it?
Yes, I suppose.
Fine. In that case, I'll announce it to the old man. By the way, he seemed strangely curious over the telephone. He gave me the impression that he has doubts about you. But he'll be happy, I'm sure.
Frank leaves.
Misha,
What?
Misha, don't do it.
Don't do what?
Don't accept.
Why do you say that? How can you say such a thing?
I'm afraid, Misha.
Afraid?
Yes. There is a risk that it'll change everything. Us, too. We both risk not being alone anymore. There'll always be a foreign presence with us, if not between us.
But what can I do? Can't refuse to obey the orders. This is war. I'm a soldier. I'm supposed to obey orders without discussing their validity. If the old man appoints me, then it's me and nobody else who has to carry out the mission.
Precisely, I wonder. Why you?
Why not me?
I don't know. Just like that. All I know is that you have refused. Let's go, come on, let's get out of here before it's too late.
It is already too late. In my case, where could we go? The enemy is everywhere, the movement as well. Wherever we go, we'll always be obliged to choose.
However, Misha, there might be a place somewhere, under the sun or under the snow, where people are not condemned to choose, where we can love each other, enjoy, and not in fear, where the dawn is a herald of songs and not of laughter and not of death, a place where the life and the dignity of man are not stakes in the games of cards or in a war.
No such place exists, Ilona. And even if it did exist, we wouldn't be able to go there. Couldn't betray the movement. couldn't betray Frank, no more than the man who would take my place tomorrow at dawn. Think of him.
You're not thinking of him, but you're thinking of Frank. Who is he? He's the good Lord?
More than that. To me, he's my friend.
If he's your friend, I am the good Lord.
Aren't you, Ilona?
Frank enters, mysterious.
I've just spoken to the old man. He's proud of you.
I'm sure he is. I'm not sure that I am, though.
Misha goes toward the window, stays there, silent, absent-minded.
You hate me.
Oh, yes, I hate you.
So much the better.
Oh, does that please you?
You could pity me. That could be worse.
No, I don't feel sorry for you. Misha, yes.
Misha?
Oh, yes, Misha.
His pity won't last very long.
According to you, how long would it last?
Till tomorrow. Tomorrow, it'll turn into hate.
You've got him all wrong. He won't hate you. Misha is incapable of hate. He'll hate himself, but he'll only pity you.
And you, Ilona? Will you always hate me?
I hope so.
Poor Misha.
Misha returns.
Why do you say poor Misha? Because what I have to do?
No, because of what you could become.
Do you really think that they'll change?
Probably.
I will change? You don't know me very well. It will always be difficult for me to kill a man.
It isn't hard to kill a man, Misha. Only the first time. After a while, you'll get used to it.
Time has nothing to do with it. Man is stronger than time.
Wrong. Man is weak. Time is the only color of our deeds. It's also their substance.
You've changed, Frank. I hardly recognize you. Nevertheless, you're the one who taught me to put blind trust in the human consciousness. This consciousness, which can transform things and situations. Now you replace everything by time.
I was wrong.
You're really not the same person anymore.
That's proof that my theory is correct.
That is horrible, almost incredible. In any case, we'll talk about it another day. It's time for me to go have a look at the hostages.
Misha walks out.
Frank, why did you bring Misha into the movement?
Why did you join the movement?
You know perfectly why. Did you forget maybe? Or do you believe that I forgot?
I didn't force him. He made the decision himself.
You're lying.
Ask him when he gets back.
That doesn't change anything. You're lying, and you know it. Of course, Misha believes that it was his decision, but you know as well as I, that's not true.
You think you're so smart.
No, you're smarter than me, but I love him. I'm asking you to answer my question. Why did you make him join the movement?
Another time.
When? The day after tomorrow?
Are you smart?
I repeat, no, I'm not, but I lack the frankness, and that's what always displeased you about me. You're still going to hate me, but I don't care. I've remained truthful. So listen well, Frank. I'm warning you. Don't try to wreck human beings who still possess what you already lost. Don't oblige others to drink from the cup of bitterness just because you're saturated with it. Leave Misha alone. You hear me? Leave him alone.
I don't hate you, Ilona.
Why not?
Should I?
Yes, you should. You should hate me because we're so alike, all the while being so different. You should hate me because I'm like you, because I'm you, without actually being you, because I fight just like you with the same weapons, but toward an altogether different goal.
I repeat, Ilona, I don't hate you. I admire you.
That's just like you. You admire me, but for the wrong reasons, for reasons that should cause you to hate me. I'm warning you again, Frank, don't hurt me at my weakest point. Don't touch Misha. Leave him alone.
You underestimate him, my poor Ilona. Don't forget that Misha is my creation as much as he is yours. He's a rival who, by his own merits, is worth fighting against.
Leave him alone.
He deserves better.
You too!
Thanks.
So what's your answer?
It's no. The fight will continue. I need it.
Misha enters, pale and looking lost.
They are civilians.
They came out of a bar. They spoke the language of the occupation. It was dark. What could we have done?
Calm down, Misha. Think. They're enemy subjects. A soldier is rarely something other than a civilian in uniform.
But, Frank, they are civilians.
No need to shout. They're soldiers without a uniform.
Do you know who they are? One of them might be the unfortunate father of an unfortunate son.
He and his son would have been better off staying away out of our country.
Do you know if they're really against us? It's even possible that they hate their own leaders.
They elected them to positions of power.
But
Enough, Misha. Don't be childish. You're a man now. You should know we do not fight a cruel and unscrupulous enemy with the beautiful feelings. To fight the enemy, you have to be like him, hard, cruel, and merciless. Do you hear me?
are you angry? Why?
Forgive me. I've lost my self-control. It's the tension. You know, I can't bear to see you torture yourself.
But, Frank, you'd want me to do all of this without remorse, without anxiety, without protest?
If you could, it would be easier.
But who wants it to be easy?
Everybody, Misha. Everybody.
I can't believe it. It's you who's telling me that. To look for what's easy? Tell me, Frank, there's a question that I haven't put to you yet.
Go to it.
What will happen if I refuse?
Don't refuse.
But suppose I refuse. Simple hypothesis.
In that case, I'm the one who'll do the job, while you'll be court-martialed.
And if you also refused?
Not me.
Let's suppose you refuse.
So much the better. The old man drew up the following list. First you, then me, finally Ilona.
She won't do it.
Ask her. Ilona, would you do it?
Don't answer, Ilona.
You answered for me.
She wouldn't do it. Not her.
You're afraid of letting her answer.
No, I'm not afraid. It's getting late, and it's still snowing, Ilona. Please, go get them. I want to talk to them. It's their night, Frank, not yours.
Ilona walks out.
Say, Frank, have you ever loved?
What a question. Why are you asking me that?
Simple curiosity.
What do you think?
I don't think so.
What makes you think that?
I don't know. I think you've lost all capacity to love. Maybe it's because of the resistance. You've become hardened. You've immunized yourself against love.
Is that also Ilona's opinion?
I don't know. I've never spoken to her about it.
You might be mistaken.
I would like to be mistaken. I would like for you to be in love.
Let's not talk about love tonight.
Okay, let's not talk about it.
Ilona enters. She points toward the door.
Here they are.
Curtain.
In the basement down below, on the roof where breezes blow, every kid in each apartment, rich and poor and quick and slow, knows when night is gathering nigh. Mommy sings a lullaby. Mommy sings rockabye. Baby, when you are grown, you'll sing a lullaby, and I'll be left alone. Baby blackbird, fly now, time to go. Who knows why? Spring is gone, summer's in, world awaits, it's time to fly. Trees grow high, rivers dry, clouds and hours billow by day, flown away. Baby, in such a rush, grew up, grew straight and tall. Maybe you'll feel a blush when, mommy, you recall naked how you bathed us in the sink, warm and wet, gave us milk, whispered soft, little pet, you'll soon forget. Trees grow high, rivers dry, clouds and hours billow by day, flown away. Now you are very old, your hair is soft and gray. Mommy, the cradle's cold, blackbird has flown away.
Act 2. Ilona, Misha, and Frank are waiting for the 3 hostages to come in. They're looking at the door.
Wait! Not all of them at once. One by one. Have the first one come in.
The first hostage enters. He is a man in his 50s, but who appears older. He looks around him with a slightly startled expression. He is bald, shy, and nearsighted. He wears glasses. He moves forward with hesitation to the center of the stage and stops there. Silence. Ilona, tense, looks at Misha, who studies the hostage. Frank observes Misha and Ilona at the same time. The hostage doesn't know what to make of his look.
Do you know who we are?
No,
Do you know where you're at?
no, we were blindfolded when.
Do you know why you're here?
No, tell me why. It must be a mistake. Are you going to kill me?
We don't know. Yet. Maybe.
Frank and Ilona leave. The young woman stops by the door, looks at Misha for a long time before closing the door behind her. A painful silence follows.
We're alone.
Indeed. Alone.
Are you really going to kill me?
As I've told you, maybe.
But why?
The question isn't why, but why not?
I don't understand.
You'll understand. We're at war. You're my enemy. Such is the law of war. Kill your enemy.
Me, your enemy? Your enemy? Me? I don't understand. I'm nobody's enemy. I'm a primary school teacher. That's what I am. I take care of little children at school. I don't even speak to adults. They don't interest me. They frighten me. They're against me. It's only among children that I feel happy and free. And I don't know. I don't know what you want with me. You're not a child. You're an adult. You frighten me. I think that adults, they're my enemies. That's what I think.
Do you at least know that the world is presently at war?
I don't think about the war.
Why not? Because it doesn't concern you? Because it's not part of the course of curriculum in your schools?
No, it isn't.
So, in your eyes, the war doesn't even exist.
It's possible that it's a mistake on my part, but I don't think about it. It's like death. It exists. Of course it exists. I'll die one day. You too. But I don't think about death. Whoever thinks too much about death has no right to be a primary school teacher. I have the right. I have many children in my class. They're small, curious. There are wild ones among them, and also shy ones. The oldest is 10. One of them is 12 years old, but I have to admit that he isn't very advanced. Retarded child. Poor kid. You see the type I mean. What was I saying to you? I forgot. Please forgive me. I'm on holiday. One of my former students, who holds a senior position here in military administration, invited me to come spend a week at his home. It has just begun. Then I have to return to my job. I have to return to my children. I know they're waiting for me. They couldn't grow up without my help. You can't take me away from them. The children aren't your enemies.
Tell me, Mr. Primary School Teacher, what do you teach your children?
A lot of things.
For example,
I teach them to read, to write, to sing. I reveal to them the beauties of nature, life's delights, the depth of words. Sometimes I take them into the woods and show them trees, small animals, clouds, heavens, and often it seems as if God Himself is there and is listening to us.
what else do you teach them?
Everything else, everything. A child needs for us to prepare him, for us to arm him before he enters the hostile world of adults. That's what I do.
Really? And how do you do that?
It's easy. It's even simple. I tell them to never forget that at the start of their lives they were children. So was everyone else. Because, sir, what is an adult, if nothing else but a child who refuses to stay a child? That's why he becomes serious, believes himself to be important and the center of everything in existence. That's why he's selfish. But maybe you think I talk too much. Must I continue?
Continue.
Thank you. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. That is why he's selfish, the grown-up man. Of course, I must admit that certain children can sometimes be selfish. I've had some in my class. But with your permission, I'll explain it to you. If a child is selfish, sometimes even cruel, it's because he wants to look like an adult. When you were a child, sir, didn't you ever play with your friends at acting like an adult? Playing the father, the schoolmaster, the soldier, or the soccer champion? Never? You see, what I teach my children is to remain children, as I told you. It's quite simple.
But what happens to your pupils afterwards? What becomes of them after having left your school?
I don't know. I swear, I don't know.
That's too easy of an answer. What happens to them? Answer me.
Believe me, I don't know. They're taken away from me by their parents, the state, the army. They disappear. I never know where.
Have you seen many children in my country?
No, I just arrived only 36 hours ago.
Even if you had just arrived 36 weeks earlier, you wouldn't have seen any children. Why? That's also quite simple. There are none. Our children have grown up too quickly, and it's the fault of your former students, who has so high of a position in the military administration here. Whenever a child sees his father tortured, his sister raped, pride scorns, he's no longer a child. Do you know who killed your childhood? Do you know? Your pupils, your host, is the murderer of children here.
No, it's not true. It's not my fault. They take them away from me, the children, too early. I teach them to be good, to smile, to sing, to say thank you and good day, and then they take them away from me. The army gives them a uniform.
And the uniform is enough to destroy all your work. In that case, what is your teaching worth?
It's not my fault, I swear. They put rifles in their hands and tell them to kill and to hate, but it's not my fault.
Whose then? Who's responsible for their metaphors? The generals, the leaders? They were children too. They went to school, maybe to yours. Certain ones among them could have been your pupils. Something from your teaching remained in their hearts and on their lips then. Later on, they became inhuman and brutal conquerors, crazy and wild murderers.
No, it's not like that. What you're saying is unfair. You can't hold me responsible for crimes I didn't commit. If I am guilty of anything, it's to have failed with regard to my children. I didn't immunize them against the future, against war. Wars are unforeseeable. You can't consider them in human terms. If I had foreseen the war, I wouldn't have known what to do. What I could have gained from this knowledge? What would I have been able to say to my children? To remain childlike. In wartime? In times like those, there are no children. You surely know it. Children are the first victims of war. So what could I have taught them? To not kill? Rather to be killed? To love the enemy? To see in him the human being and not a danger to be eliminated? To see in him the image of God? Or should I perhaps have taught them that 2 times 2 equals 0 when the units are human beings? Oh, sir, how happy I am having not thought about war back there in my class with my children.
Tell me, Mr. Schoolmaster, do you have family?
No, I never got married. I had 2 brothers killed in a bombardment.
Why haven't you ever gotten married?
Who knows? Maybe because of shyness. Would you believe it? A very long time ago, I knew a woman. I loved her. She was also in the teaching field, a widow. Her daughter was in my class, a beautiful child with clear blue eyes that always sparkled. I often spoke to the mother about her daughter's progress, that's all. I think she loved me too, but I was shy. Once, I remember I told her how much I loved her little girl. Her name was Clara. Yes, Clara. I loved her, yes. But to tell the truth, this time I wasn't thinking of Clara. I was thinking of her mother. She, the mother, didn't reply, waiting for me to continue. I didn't. Maybe I should have. In any case, it's too late now.
Why too late?
The child grew up. Her mother remarried.
What would you do if you made it out alive? I mean, when the war is over.
What a question. I'll continue to teach.
The beauty of life, the depth of words, the sanctity of love. As if nothing had ever happened.
But there's beauty in life and sanctity in love.
In spite of everything?
In spite of everything.
You're an old fool.
Are you going to kill me now?
You don't want to die, do you?
Of course I don't. I want to live. I have to live.
Give me a reason. Just one. Why?
I've told you 100 times. Because I'm a primary school teacher. Because my holiday will be over soon. Because my children are awaiting my return. Because I can't disappoint them. And then, think of what will happen after the war. People will need me. When the world, sir, survives its own destruction, primary school teachers become much more necessary than heroes or merchants. That's why you can't kill me. You cannot. You cannot. Isn't that so?
Because you take care of children. I know.
But I do take care of children. I could prove it.
Well, we'll see. The night is still young.
He motions him to sit down on a chair against the wall, then opens the door and shouts,
Next!
The second hostage enters. He is younger than the first one, nearly 50, a well-off bourgeois and drunk.
My name is...
No need.
Oh, no need, I see. You don't want to know who I am? Well, then tell me who you are.
I'm a member of the resistance movement.
The resistance movement, very honored, but I'm drunk.
You do better to sober up, and the sooner the better.
I don't feel like it. Why don't you get drunk? It would be funnier.
Put yourself together. This is no time for being tipsy.
He's drunk too much.
I thought you were angry with me. You aren't? Generally, people who don't like drunkards, but you don't hate me, eh? I don't hate you. It's true, I can't. You're not drunk, and I am.
He's drunk too much.
Sober up. Come on. If you stay drunk, maybe you'll never be sober again.
What a shame. Being drunk at this time.
Oh, to never be sober again. Great. I don't want to be sober. I want to stay that way for the rest of my life. Leave me alone. Come drink with me. Come. I insist. Okay. You get angry, but if you drink, you'll no longer be angry. A drunkard is never angry with another drunkard.
What a shame.
Do you want to die?
Die? No, I don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. I want to be drunk.
God Almighty, it's hopeless.
Maybe he doesn't want to live.
You're angry? No, you're not angry. You're unhappy because of me. That's what my wife tells me all the time. She's always telling me that I make her unhappy. I work too much, she says. I spend too much time at the office, she says. I'm always tired, she says, and also that I'm tired of talking to her, that I don't love her, that she's unhappy because of me. It's true, I make her unhappy. It's true, I work too much, and indeed, I want her to be unhappy because of me. You're unhappy because of me. Yes, me. I'm unhappy because of me.
Why did you drink just today?
Yes. Why today?
You're right. Why today? Because I was unhappy, that's why. I went to the bar with two annoying men. We're in the same hotel. I thought they'd be delighted to drink because I thought they were unhappy, just like me. But I don't think they're married. They didn't want to drink, so I drank alone. They dropped me. They didn't even empty a glass. You wouldn't drop me, not today. It's a bad day for me, a really bad day. Those idiots in the military administration, they are idiots, you know.
Yes, they are idiots. Very big idiots.
Exactly. You are smart. You can tell when somebody is more stupid than somebody else. Why did they call me? They said it's important. They even sent me a cable. Come right away, the cable said, to sign the contract. It was promised. It should be a big deal. It suited them and me too. A purchase of steel. I'm in the steel, you know. Everything was ready. The plans, the projects, the suggestions, estimate, everything, you know. I took the first train. Well, it came to nothing. The idiots. There was a big man at the military administration, a chief warrant officer. Here I am, I tell him, and I show him the cable. Fine, he says, but you're coming too late. The deal went up in smoke. We don't need your steel anymore. We got it elsewhere. We're very sorry, we regret. And what about me? I wasn't sorry? No, I wasn't sorry, but I was angry. Unfortunately, we can't be angry with officers or with drunkards. I returned to the hotel and I had a drink. The telephone rang. It was my soft, my charming, my understanding little wife. I had told you not to go there, she reproached me. You do everything to make me unhappy. That's what she said. That's what she always said. Tell me, sir, are you too unhappy?
He's really drunk. He's really drunk too much. What a shame.
Misha opens the window and pushes the hostage head through.
Maybe that will sober him up.
Oh, it's cold.
Don't move.
Oh, what a headache. I apologize. I must have drunk a few too many glasses. Who the hell are you?
I'm a member of the resistance movement.
What am I doing here?
You are our hostage.
What? You're crazy.
Or drunk?
Drunk? What are you talking about? Oh, my head. You're kidding me. Tell me you're kidding me, or it's a bad dream, a nightmare.
It's neither a joke nor a dream.
So what is this? Am I still drunk?
I hope not.
What do you want?
For you to talk.
Do you intend to kill me?
I don't know yet.
Do you want money?
I don't need money.
Maybe your group needs it? I'm rich. I have money in several foreign banks. I could have $50,000 transferred to you. Do you know what you could do with $50,000?
Nothing doing.
Why not? You could easily choose another hostage and keep my money.
You're a businessman. We aren't.
How do you know that I'm a businessman?
You're really tipsy. You spoke.
What else did I say?
Nothing else, just that you're a businessman.
It's true, I'm a businessman, and I am not involved in politics. If there's a war between our two countries, it's not the politicians or the generals who are responsible for it. Kill one of them. It is the politicians and the generals who are responsible, not me. What did I do? I'm a man who likes to work and to live in peace. I adore my family, my wife and my son. I'm very attached to them, and they feel the same way about me. I split my time between the office and my home. To be frank, I spend the major part of my time at home. That's my participation in the war. Is that why you want to kill me? Do you even know why you want to kill me? Why don't you answer? I have such a migraine, and this is driving me crazy.
I'm listening to you.
That is not enough. Say something. What do you want to know?
Why do you want to live?
Why? What a question. Who doesn't want to live? I told you. I have a family, very close. We love each other. We're happy. There's happiness in our house. Whenever I come home from work, when I open the door to my house, smiling faces welcome me. That's why I want to live. And now, tell me, why do you want to kill me?
I have orders.
To kill me?
Yes.
So
Kill
I
me.
can't do anything about it. Even there I lose. It's the second time today. My head, I drank too much. I didn't want to, but it was necessary. I felt depressed, disgusted, rejected by everything and by everybody. My wife's telephone call precipitated everything. She says, I make her unhappy. Well, sir, I have to admit something to you. Now I can, given that everything is lost. Earlier, I lied to you. I don't love my wife, and it's mutual. We aren't happy together. We were at first, then it changed. We began to hate each other. The house was like hell, a veritable hell. That's why I took the train to come here, to get away from her, even if only for 2 days. The cable from the military administration supplied me with an excellent excuse. I had to leave. She is so hard, so nasty. She even tried to alienate my son from me. She always wanted me to be extremely strict with him. It's good for his upbringing, she asserted, so I was strict and showed him no affection. He tried to write poetry. Whenever he showed me something he had written and it was excellent, I'd tell him it's not bad. When it was good, I'd point out it could be better. This is the way she wanted me to be with my son, and yet I love him and I'm proud of him. If I've stayed with her for such a long time, it's because of him. I wonder if now he understands it, if he knows that I love him. I suppose not. Anyway, it's too late.
It's cold in here. I'll have to close the window.
Ugh, my head.
Misha shows him a chair against the wall next to the first hostage and motions him to sit down.
All this is your fault. You were drunk.
What are you doing here? Are you a hostage too?
It's your fault. You wanted us to go to the bar. If you hadn't insisted so much, we wouldn't have gone there.
Misha opens the door.
Last one.
The third hostage enters. He is tall, elegantly dressed, a picture of cynicism. He is calm, shows no fear, smiles, sometimes sarcastically. Physically, he looks a little like Misha. Both young people look each other over for a long moment.
We have 3 hostages. One must die at dawn. You?
Why not?
You don't seem to understand me.
But I do, quite well.
You can die tomorrow.
I can die tomorrow.
This night is perhaps your last night.
I'm aware of that.
And that's all it means to you? Why don't you cry out your innocence?
Would that serve a purpose? I'd have thought that the more innocent a man is, the better a hostage he makes. You should try to take God.
Don't throw your indifference in my face.
What would you like to hear?
That you want to live.
I want to live.
That you live for a purpose.
I live for a purpose.
That you have an important body of work to accomplish.
I have an important body of work to accomplish.
That you love a woman.
I love a woman.
That she loves you back.
She loves me back.
That she's beautiful.
She's beautiful.
You mocking me?
I'm mocking you.
You're really cynical. Or cynicism only a defensive weapon for you?
That one you'll answer yourself.
Who are you?
Nothing very important. I work for Foreign Affairs in the least important section, the archives. I establish statistics. How many soldiers were killed last evening at 7 o'clock on the Eastern Front? How many people died in air attacks at 2 minutes to midnight last Wednesday? You know what I mean. I am the man in charge of numbers. Do you want to know anything else?
How is it that you're not in the army?
It was decreed by the management that, in addition to soldiers, the war needs statisticians.
What are you doing here, in this country?
I came on a mission to gather additional numbers.
What else? Say something.
What do you want to know?
What will you do once the war is over?
This war will never be over. It'll outlive us. It's eternal, pure, and cruel, like the gods.
Words? Words.
Yes, words. What did you expect from me? Not words? Is there anything else? Isn't it for words that you brought me here? So that we can fight with words? If I use the right word, I live. If my tongue or my spirit fail me, I'll die. Isn't it so? Otherwise, why do you insist on speaking to me? About what, I might add? About my past? About my future? Did you want to know if I had good reasons to wish to stay alive? What a pity. You'll know nothing about that. If I have reasons, they're mine and not yours. It's not up to you to judge them. They could seem to be weak to you. They're not to me. And now, if you want to kill me, you'll have to find a reason to do it. Don't wait for me to help you.
I'm not expecting to.
Good. So, you're going to kill me. Why are you trembling? Wouldn't my death scare you more than it does me?
Possibly. I'm afraid.
But that won't prevent you from killing me. Who'll carry out the execution? You yourself? I wonder how you'll behave. What weapon will you use? A pistol or a rifle? If it's indoors, I suggest a pistol. Outdoors, a rifle would be better recommended. Will your hand tremble? Will you look at me? I hope so. Will you look at me? You must. I insist. You can't refuse me this favor. Promise me that you'll look at me. I want to see how you'll see me. It would be interesting.
Enough! Enough! Can't take it anymore. What do you want? What do you want to prove? That you're stronger than me? Do you think I don't know it? And what else? That you're not afraid to die? And so, that's not the question.
What is the question?
You know it as well as I do. The question isn't about knowing who's more afraid or less afraid.
Then I repeat, what is the question? The reason we invoke to justify our lives? And you call me cynical? Me? And what about you? What are you? A saint? What sanctifies you? Your hesitations? This so noble impulse that makes you speak to your victims before the execution? Is that what makes a saint of you? Or an idealist? Mr. Hamlet?
Why are you trying to humiliate me?
I'm not trying to humiliate you for the simple reason that I don't know if it's your victories or your defeats that humiliate you or make you proud. I spoke to you for the same reasons as you spoke to me, to know what was happening in your mind. Now I know. It's enough. Let's end the conversation there. We'll probably meet again at dawn.
And now you know.
Yes, I know. In your mind, there is only confusion and chaos. And I'm happy about that. Yes, I'm happy to be the victim of confusion and chaos. and not that of a clear, fair, lucid, and provoked decision. I'm happy to have discovered this because now I know that you envy me. Because you do envy me, don't you?
Few years ago, my father and I were at the window in our apartment. It was night during an alert. We were waiting for the arrival of bombers, for the drum of bombs. My father made me look at the stars and told me, "See, my son, there are many stars up above. Each one of them is bigger than anything you can imagine. Think then how small we are, we humans, in the vastness of the universe. We are smaller than the tiniest creatures. And yet, here we are, you and I, two beings so tiny, and we're looking at the stars. We're looking at the universe. Isn't it the one valid reason for living?" That's what my father told me.
And did the bombers come that night?
What's the use of speaking to you? You refuse to be human. The fact that we're enemies and that we're speaking to each other, isn't that sufficient enough reason for hope?
We're speaking, we're still enemies. Isn't that fact sufficient proof of the opposite?
You must have been quite alone.
I was. Can I leave now?
Yes, you can.
Misha shows him the third chair next to the two others.
Wait here with them.
You blasphemed.
He made fun of us the entire evening yesterday.
He doesn't believe in anything.
He doesn't like humanity.
He doesn't trust humanity.
He'd promised to drink with me. He didn't do it.
He doesn't want to live.
He wants to live, but says the opposite.
Curtain.
Wife in Pripyat brennt a fire und in Stubis heiß und der Rebbe lernt kleine Kinderlach dem Olive Beis und der Rebbe lernt kleine Kinderlach dem Olive Beis. Setze Kinderlach, gedenche teure, was ihr lernt du. Such schön noch einmal und Tage noch einmal, komm jetzt Olive Such schön noch einmal und Tage noch einmal, komm jetzt Olive Oh, the fire burns in the fireplace, and the room is hot. And the rabbi teaches all the little ones the olive base. And the rabbi teaches all the little ones the olive base. See now, little ones, remember, children, don't forget it, please. Say it once and say it over once again. All your ABCs. Say it once and say it over once again. All your ABCs. Lernt Kinder mit Großrechen, so sag ich euch werdet Gicher von euch kennen Ivrei, der bekommt Affon. Werdet Gicher von euch kennen Ivrei, der bekommt Affon. Setze Kinderlach, gedenke teure, was ihr lernt du. Such schön noch einmal und Tage noch einmal, komm jetzt Olive Such schön noch einmal und Tage noch einmal, komm jetzt Olive
Act 3. Misha is alone. The hostages have long since left. He is at the window. He waits for dawn, and dawn is a long time coming.
The old man just called.
Come again? You're pale.
We've just received a call from the old man.
What did he say?
He spoke to Frank. He wanted to know if everything was going well,
What did Frank answer?
that all was well, that he expects no surprise, no problem, that it will be done soon.
That's how he thought it would go. Frank, isn't it? He was thinking about me.
I think so. On the telephone, Frank didn't mention your name, but I understood that it was about you.
Nowadays, it's hard to be a man. We don't know what to do, whom to obey, not when. We don't know the exact moment when yes should transform itself into no in order to safeguard our human identity. Strange, Ilona. It's the first time in my life that I feel the effects of time on me. I feel myself aging. I feel my past becoming richer when I compare it to the future. It's as if I were somewhere else, watching myself growing and aging
You spoke with them for a long time.
all night long. I've never had such an experience. As painful, as enlightening. In reality, I spent little time with each one of them, and yet I feel as if I know them better than my best friends. Not only do I know what they were, what they are, but also what they could become if we let them live. Strange, isn't it? Tell a man that he's going to die, and suddenly you know everything about him. You see him from all sides, real, eternal. You know his most secret fears and ambitions. A report, terrible and magnificent, establishes itself between you and him. A report of total understanding. Like him, you feel as if the era of lies and evasive answers has passed. Suddenly, you realize that you've both changed at the same time. The spirit becomes remarkably clear. The face becomes extremely expressive. The language becomes simple, primitive, and powerful. We no longer say anything that's not essential. We speak only in absolute terms. Adam, the first man on earth, must have felt this way when speaking to God. Job, too. I was here in the same room, and although we spoke about the outside world, I really didn't believe in its existence. The universe, throughout this night, was reduced to the dimension of this room. I spoke this evening to 3 men, but it appeared as if I'd seen the 3 faces of the 3 fates for a long being, and we, the 2 only living creatures in the night, we were the eternal victim in front of the eternal judge.
Did you draw any conclusions from all of this, Misha?
It is easier to be the victim.
So, do you remain judge?
I have no choice. I remain judge.
Did you decide? Did you choose the victim?
Yes.
Misha. Misha. Misha, it's too much. It's too much to ask of us. We're too young for that. We're going to live for so many years with the memory of this night. It's not fair. Why did they choose you? Why you, Misha?
Calm down, Ilona. Don't cry. You mustn't. Tears are a weapon only in the peacetime. In wartime, they're without value. They get lost. Please don't cry.
Excuse me. I'm making the task harder for you. I promise not to cry. Promise not to cry anymore. Besides, I'm ugly when I cry.
No, no, of course not. You're not ugly. You're never ugly.
Really?
Really. And now, wouldn't you like to know who I chose?
Who is it, Misha? Who is it?
The youngest of the three. No, it has nothing to do with age. My decision is based on other factors. You see, when I spoke to them, I had a purpose in mind. First of all, I believe that it's cowardly to kill a man about whom we know nothing. Next, this is more important. By speaking to the hostages, I wanted to know which one among them has the justification for his life, a reason for living. None of them really has one. But the two first ones spoke to me about other people to whom they're irrevocably linked. Only the youngest is attached to nobody. He lives in a hermetically closed universe. By executing him, I'll be killing only one being and not several.
So, it is him?
It's him.
Was it hard for you to decide?
Very hard in many respects. He's unhappy. He suffered a lot. He's brilliant, arrogant, honest. Under better circumstances, he could easily take my place, and I his. Maybe that's why I felt closer to him. As a matter of fact, we resemble each other. Only thing, I had the opportunity to have a cause to fight for, love to live for. In other words, by doing away with him, it will be as if I were committing suicide.
Come on, Bisha. Don't do it. Let's leave. Let's leave. We'll hide. We'll wait for the end of the war, for the death of the judges, for oblivion. Refuse the role they're imposing on you, please.
It's too late, Ilona. Too late to rebel. When I decided to join the movement, it was already too late.
Well, ask Frank. Ask Frank to do it for you. He'd be happy if you asked him to do it. I know it.
How do you know it?
Oh, I know it.
But you don't know me very well if you think I couldn't accept this solution, which, besides, isn't one. I'm no longer a child. I can't ask adults to do for me what I'm incapable of doing, too weak or too cowardly to do it. To kill through the intervention of somebody else is worse than to commit the crime. Look, it's almost daylight.
Done. I hate this time of day. And I swear to God to hate forever.
Frank enters.
It's time.
You speak as if I were the condemned one.
It's time, Misha.
I know.
It'll soon be daylight, then it'll be too late.
I know, Frank. To be too late.
Did you choose?
Yes.
Good. I'm pleased.
You're pleased. No doubt about that. You're pleased.
And you? Aren't you?
Do you really want to know?
Yes.
Don't tell him. Don't let him enjoy his victory or his defeat. Leave him doubts.
His victories? What victories, Frank?
Don't pay attention. She thinks you're the stake in a battle we're waging between us, her and me. If you're weak, she's won. If you're strong, I've won. She thinks war is the only pretext for allowing us, her and me, to fight over you.
Is it true, Ilona?
We don't have enough time at this hour to begin a philosophical debate. The night is coming to its end. Look at the window. The light is breaking. Go. Carry out the orders.
I am going, but before I insist on answering you, here goes. No, I'm not pleased with myself. Not at all. I would have wanted to be able to act differently.
I know.
How do you know?
The first time I had to do it, it made me sick.
Yet, you didn't have to judge them previously.
That's true. I wasn't a judge. Despite it all, it still made me sick.
I believe you. Well, I am going.
Frank gives him his revolver.
You know how to use it.
Of course.
They're in the next room. Tell the guards to close the window. Also, tell them to blindfold the 2 other hostages you don't want to kill and take them far away from here. They'll know what to do. The car is still downstairs, and you'll stay alone with the 3rd one. By the way, which one is it?
It's, oh, it doesn't matter.
Misha goes towards the door. Ilona and Frank follow him with their eyes. Arriving at the door, Misha hesitates. He seems suddenly to want to change his mind. The battle he wages within himself reaches its peak. Ilona runs towards him.
Misha,
Misha expects a sign or a word from her able to change everything. But Ilona doesn't know what to say.
Yes, Ilona?
I won't cry.
Misha looks at her sadly and smiles with bitterness and then leaves.
So you're proud of yourself?
Sad.
What are you saying?
Not proud. Sad.
Possibly. But that doesn't excuse your pride.
You're mistaken, Ilona. I feel no pride. Not at all. I'm simply sad. Profoundly sad.
Well, tell that to Misha. He'll feel better, maybe.
Your irony is out of place.
And my hate,
No, your hate isn't.
fortunately. Listen well, Frank. You should know that I hate you. Tomorrow I'll pity you, undoubtedly. But today I feel nothing but hate for you. You destroyed Misha, and you took pleasure in it.
You consider me to be a pervert?
Oh, you are one. You have some affection, however, you did all you could to pervert it, to bring it up, to bring it down, to destroy it. Why? Why? Why did you do that, Frank?
Why? What do you think?
Is it because of us?
Us?
I mean, because of what they are used to be between us?
You made me swear to never speak about it again.
No, it's true. I didn't want Misha to know about it. It would have hurt him too much. Can't imagine if he had known, if he had rejected me. More than you, he's capable of sacrifice.
Do you think I still love you?
I hope not.
Yet you think I did all of that because of our past.
I hope not.
And what if that were the case?
I would judge that you're fallen so low that you don't deserve anything more than my pity.
I don't care about your pity.
And I don't care about your love.
Don't worry. I don't love you. I don't love you anymore. I think I'd never loved you. I had all the symptoms of love, but none of its profound qualities. Last night, Misha told me that in his opinion, I had never loved. He was right. I never loved you, Ilona. Neither before, nor now.
But I loved you.
That's not true. Otherwise, you wouldn't have left me. Even for Misha.
It's true, Frank. I loved you. with all my heart, but more than you, Misha needed me. That's how it all began. You lived only for the resistance. Misha wasn't a member yet. He had nothing to hang on to. He had you, or at least he believed he had you. But it was only an illusion. Whenever you were with him, it was like when you were with me, you weren't there. That's how we became your victims. And victims get together, Frank. You know the rest. But I loved you.
Well, it no longer has importance.
It does. Now what's important for me is Misha. Is it because of me, because of us, that you've hurt him so much? Is it because of it that you made him join the movement, knowing that he would end up feeling alone, guilty, and unhappy? Was it your revenge toward me or toward him?
No, it's something else.
Well, so what then?
Curiosity, Misha. You remember how I resembled him? Like him, young, idealistic, enthusiastic, believing in the difference between good and evil, adoring love and loathing ugliness. I was always ready to fight on the side of the weakest, to think of others before thinking of myself. The line that separates things that have to be done from those that don't was so clear, so distinct, so tragic in its simplicity. The first thing to do was to join the movement, whose goals were mine. There was an enemy whose armies occupied our country, and I owed it to myself to fight them with words, with my hatred. I owed it to myself to chase them away with their own weapons. Yes, everything was simple back then. There were neither problems, nor doubts, nor questions, nor regrets, nor fears of regrets. I knew the difference between white and black, and also the ones that exist between black and black. I knew who was my friend and who was my enemy. I participated in night operations, and until the enemy showed up, I composed poems in my mind. I was happy, I assure you. I was at peace with myself. I was helping make and even to remake history, to change its course. And then it happened. Look, it's snowing again.
I don't think it ever stopped.
Do you still love the snow?
Well, I couldn't say the precise moment. I don't like anything.
I still like the snow. It's so pointless, so pure. One evening, I've never told you this story. The old man had given me the order to execute a hostage. It was the first time I was going to be face to face with the man I had to kill. I entered the room, well guarded, that served as a prison by the movement. We were alone. It was an officer. We looked at each other silently, and then, after a moment, he simply told me, "It's strange. I don't even know why I'm going to die." I didn't know either. I blushed, quite ashamed of my embarrassment. I fired. I was afraid that he wanted to speak again. I felt like crying. I felt betrayed, rejected by everybody, forsaken, as if I had just killed my best friend.
Then, Frank,
Then, for a few days, I felt hopeless, so I had taken hold of myself. Later, I was given new orders, and killing a man almost became routine. It no longer affected me.
but what does this have to do with Misha?
I have affection for Misha. You know it. I not only wanted him to become my young brother, needing my protection, my advice, my help, but I also wanted him to be, and that he remain, what I had been. I wished that Misha would know all that I knew, that he would like what I liked, that he would be generous as I used to be. But I didn't want him to follow me all the way to the end. I wanted him to stop at a certain point, even before having reached the danger zone. That's why I stubbornly refused to let him join the movement. I feared the inevitable consequences, and that in them he would lose his identity and mine.
How is it then that he entered it?
It's my fault. He harassed me. I continued to refuse. Then my curiosity was aroused. I wondered if Misha, who from many points of view was my creation, was stronger than his own creator. I gave him permission. Here we are. Misha is next door. He's getting ready to kill a man he doesn't hate.
And do you consider that being a victory for you or a defeat?
It's neither one nor the other. It's a fact. Misha is next door.
And you expect him to refuse? You'd hope for it?
Yes, I had hoped for it.
But he hesitated. He's unhappy. He's ashamed. That's equal to a refusal, don't you think?
No. A refusal, that's something else. It's more final, more complete. I too was unhappy. I too was ashamed. I too felt guilty. But eventually, we get used to it.
Oh, no. Misha won't ever get used to it.
But he will. But he will.
He'll always feel ashamed and guilty.
Not always. Look at me, you see? I got used to it, so will he.
Liar. Filthy liar. You're lying to me the way you did to Misha, and who knows, maybe the way you lied to yourself.
What do you mean? When did I lie to you?
Monster! And to think that for a moment I believed you, that I didn't hate you anymore. I was such an idiot. I had even stopped judging you, and you were lying to me.
Calm down, Ilona. Please, calm down. Misha could return from one moment to the next. Don't shout so loud. He could hear you. The guards, too.
Oh, let them hear me. Let the enemy hear me. Let the whole world hear me. You're a liar, Frank. How wasn't I able to notice it earlier? Mad woman that I was.
God almighty. What are you talking about?
You know perfectly well.
But no, I don't know. All I know is that you're having an attack of hysteria. What's more, it's understandable.
No, Frank. I'm having an attack. But not of hysteria. I'm having an attack of lucidity.
Don't speak in riddles. If you have something against life for what it's done to Misha, go in a corner and cry to your heart's content. But stop shouting.
I will continue. And I'll tell you the truth. The whole truth. You were jealous of Misha. Oh, not of my love for him, no. Of his love for me, oh no. You were jealous of his innocence, of his purity, of his idealism, of his love of life and of other human beings. You were jealous of his doubts, of his resistance, of his strength. Couldn't bear the idea that Misha would remain that what you once had been. A man who believes in human dignity and acts accordingly. The simple fact that he remained himself and didn't start to resemble you was driving you crazy. You were obsessed with the will to make him accept your ideas, your limits, to make him ashamed of his so-called weakness, you see? You see, I know the truth. That's why you urged Misha to join the movement. That's why you probably suggested to the old man to entrust this morning's execution to him. That's why you made every effort to convince Misha that when he kills, he must remain calm and composed. It's the simple truth. And you called yourself Misha's being brother, his protector?
Enough, Ilona. Enough, I tell you.
Isn't it the truth? Answer me. Isn't it the truth?
Enough! Enough, Ilona! Stop before I do or say something I will not be responsible for.
I order you to tell me. Answer me. Isn't that what happened? Answer. Answer me.
No. No. No, Ilona. I'm begging you.
That's what you did it. Admit it. Admit it, Frank. Now you can. Just the sight of Misha made you feel how despicable you'd become, how much you'd change. He was a threat to you. You had to send him away or change him.
It's not true. I assure you, you're wrong.
So after all, I discovered the truth. You went to a lot of trouble to destroy him. It can be said that you did everything you could to reduce him to your level.
But I succeeded, didn't I? What do you think he's doing next door, right at this moment?
Yes, Yes, you succeeded. But you'll never become like you.
That remains to be seen.
I despise you.
I don't care. One day you'll despise him too.
No, that too remains to be seen. You'll forget that I love him and that he loves me.
He'll become like me. His love, you forget that. I too loved you, and that didn't prevent me from becoming what I am. Why wouldn't that happen to me, not happen to Misha?
The room becomes silent. The door opens in front of Misha. He doesn't move. For a moment, nobody speaks.
I didn't do it.
Thank you, God. Thank you.
What did you say?
That I couldn't.
That's impossible. You don't mean that?
I couldn't do it, Frank. I put out the guards, the 2 hostages to release, and I sat alone with the 3rd one. I just couldn't.
But why? What happened? What prevented you from doing it?
I don't know how to describe it to you. I was like paralyzed. Couldn't raise the revolver, move my hand. Maybe because he was smiling while looking at me.
You idiot! You'll be court-martialed.
I know, but I can't do anything about it. I had just enough strength to choose. That's all.
It's your turn.
Frank, I'm really sorry.
I believe you. You've won.
Dawn has arrived. It's almost daylight.
Almost.
I think you'd better go. And be thankful to Misha. He made things easy for you. He sent the others away.
Yes, he made things easy for me. It's best that I go. How many bullets are there in this revolver? Only one? Good, as usual. At so short a distance, one can't miss the target. I'm going.
Frank leaves.
Could have refused, you know.
He did not.
If he had refused.
It would have been my turn. But he didn't refuse.
No.
What's going to happen now? Do you think they're court-martial you?
I'll have to explain my attitude, try to make them understand what I felt. I was facing him, revolver in my hand, and he was smiling. His smile was cynical, but he wasn't challenging me. Well, he said to me, "Will you look at me?" I was trembling. I realized that there was no difference between him and me. None except for the fact that I was luckier than him, being on the right side of the fence. It's not because he's unlucky that his life has no reason for being. Anyway, that's not for me to judge. I can judge actions, but not men. That's why I followed my impulse, did an about face, and left. His entire being expressed a nameless surprise.
Do you think they'll understand?
I'll do my best, but I don't have much hope. A single act of a single man does not change, cannot change the structure of policy of an organization. The resistance has its laws, and if each of its members did a self-examination in order to study its validity, our struggle would be hopeless.
Couldn't these laws be changed?
Maybe so, maybe not. That's for the court to decide.
Look, night is over.
Dawn has arrived.
It's over.
Good morning.
You?
Yes, me. Your friend committed suicide. An idealist like you, probably. No need to see me out. The guards have left. Here's your revolver. Empty. I'll find my way. No need to disturb you. Goodbye. Delighted to have met you.
He leaves.
Frank. He refused. I'm no longer afraid of the court.
Poor Frank. Poor Frank.
Curtain. The music this evening has been created by Connor O'Sullivan, and we'd like to also thank the editing of the text, which was made by Robert Perot. Candles will be passed out to the audience, and we ask that you don't light them until instructed.
בביאת המשיח, בביאת המשיח. אני מאמין באמונה שלמה, בביאת המשיח.
For the lighting ceremony, we now invite Rabbi Jonah Steinberg to the stage for a reading of Amale Rahamim, along with Holocaust survivor Janet Applefield, UNESCO Artist for Peace Gila Clara Casus, Director of the Elie Wiesel Archive Foundation Yoel Rappel, New England representative of American Friends of Magen David Adom, Burton Klein, Director of International Policy and Partnerships at Physicians for Human Rights, Susanna Sirkin, and personal assistant to Elie Wiesel at Boston University for 27 years, Martha Hauptman.
Let me ask you if you are able to stand and to light your candles. It's a season of remembrance, and in that spirit, El Malei Rachamim Shochen Mamromim Hamtze Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei HaShechina B'malot Kedoshim Utorim Kezohar Arakia Mazirim Et nishmat kol eile shenehargu ve'alechu le'olamam began eden yehem menuchatam ana bal harachamim yastirem beseter kenafav le'olamim utzeror b'tzror chaim et nishmotehem Adonai hu nachalatam V'yanuchu b'shalom al mishkavam, v'nomar Amen. God, full of compassion, grant rest and tranquility to all those who were killed and have gone to their rest. May their peace be the peace of the Garden of Eden. Please, O Lord, grant them shelter in your presence and bind their souls in the bond of life. You are their inheritance. May they rest in peace. And let us say Amen.
Amen. As we light these 6 candles in remembrance of the 6 million Jews who perished during the Holocaust, we ask for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Again, thank you for composer, for also the editor of the text, Carol Bethel, and thank you to survivors who give us always amazing lessons of strength, courage, and joy of life. Thank you.